Hello and welcome back to another episode. We're going to jump right back in here to Gabriel Knight. I'm not going to take too long. Try not to mumble too much. It's very early in the morning. I got my cup of coffee. It is, unfortunately, not top of the morning coffee this morning. It is pumpkin spice because I'm that kind of person. I just enjoy it. I wanted something. Well, I'll get a little bit more specific. It's pumpkin spice from San Francisco Bay. They have the recyclable pods and like that aren't toxic to you, so I get them for health reasons because I don't want cancer from plastics. And so I did pumpkin spice this morning, and I have salted caramel mocha, healthy, zero sugar, good for you kind of syrup in there. Then with a little bit of, because my fiance's allergies, I do oat milk creamers they have from, I can't think of the company, but they have a brown sugar one that I like to put in just a little bit to counteract, because I go a little bit hard on the mocha. And sometimes a little bit too much, and I had to sip a little too much this morning. So I put a little bit of brown sugar, oat milk creamer in there, just a little bit, just to counteract that, and it's delicious. So let's take a sip and get on in. My fiance is sleeping. I have all the dogs, including my mom's dog. Let's check out some stuff first. So we left off last time. Steal from something, and the police won't be the only thing on your trail. Must be us. Right, yeah, let's keep looking. Yes, when we entered here, for those who may not recall, there was an older lady who was talking about actually going to Catholic church. She had this adorable little, I want to say, Yorkshire dog, and she was talking about meetings with a group of Voodoo, and then also talking about church, I believe, and getting some stuff for different, like, basically not really like, I don't know if they call them spells, kind of like little rituals to do to help her like sleep. And then she said someone tried to curse her for having a bad digestive stomach or something like that. And so how to like counteract that and such. So I'm sure we're gonna have to ask about that. So we'll keep that in mind.
It's a mannequin wearing a crocodile mask.
I think this is adorable. Like, in a weird way, it's strange, but also it's like kind of adorable because it looks like a crocodile who's like either in a nightgown, or like maybe that's how crocodiles get married, you know. Maybe that's their dress, crocodile people.
The poster advertises a voodoo play from last fall.
That would be really fun. One of my favorite memories as a kid, is the school I used to went to. Well, because I went to two different schools. The first school I went to when I was a youngin', we occasionally would have people come and do plays at our school, very small classes. But we had a Sleepy Hollow play, actually two Sleepy Hollow plays. One was a puppet play, which was equally well done. I wish I could find like a recording of the people who did the Sleepy Hollow play. This had been sometime in the early 2000s, probably maybe 2001 or 2002. I want to say I was real young then, but I can't. It's somewhere in the early 2000s, definitely before 2005 for sure. And then also around that same time, I think they came after. Were actors who came and did a Sleepy Hollow play, and because they had two gymnasiums. One was like the old one that was really small. I think at one point it was a cafeteria and then became the gym, or it was a gym and then became a cafeteria. Well, and then they had the new gym built, came and did a Sleepy Hollow play, and it, without a doubt, it was so good. I don't think either one ever came back after that, because they tried to make it less scary for the younger kids, and we were very young. But everyone, even the teachers, were scared, even at like the less scary version, if I remember correctly. But both were so well done, both in the early 2000s. The puppet one was great, but the actors and like the actual like Broadway-esque style, like actual movements, costumes, kind of play, scene sets, were incredible. And I wish I knew who did it, because I would love to watch that again.
The Dixieland drugstore is crammed from top to bottom with strange merchandise, some or all of which seem to be related to the practice of voodoo.
But yeah, I would love to see a voodoo play, because I think it would be equally as good. I mean, it could be too, because of my love for voodoo. Yeah. We'll look at that in a second. I'm trying to see. Sometimes you can like just miss things. Look at this first.
Root bags, curio boxes, and magic candles. Sold as curios only. We cannot guarantee results.
Always smart to have a disclaimer. Even if it's the real stuff, always have a disclaimer. But yeah, I've always had a fascination with Sleepy Hollow, so maybe that's why. But excuse me. But yeah, Sleepy Hollow. Sleepy Hollow is also a town in New York. Sleepy Hollow, New York. Very famous place in New York. I don't know how many people outside of New York know about it. But it is where the tale of the Headless Horseman is supposed to originate. They are one. There's a few towns actually in New York that try to claim to be it, and I think there's some other ones. I think there's a couple in Mass that also claim to have the original Sleepy Hollow. But from my recollection, Sleepy Hollow, New York has the actual oldest known like story of it, like on record. And the event supposedly took a wrong place there, and the people who, you know, are named to be a part of it all have gravestones for that time actually in Sleepy Hollow as well. But they're a really cool town. It's just, I mean, a lot of towns in central and upstate New York are very small, but they're all very, very pretty. They're very beautiful. You know, basically every town in New York, if I had to describe it, you can stop at, you know, you'll never run out of words. Run out of things to do, because you can just take a trip and go to one town a day, and there's a million small towns in every state, but New York is actually pretty big, so there's probably maybe a little bit more than typical. But there's always things to do. There's always trails to go see. There always something a little bit different, little local town museums, a little taste of every single town, and their history is there. All these old historic buildings, and Sleepy Hollow is very much like that. You go there, there's a bunch of little things to do. You know, you basically do it all in a day. They also do this amazing Halloween thing now with these pumpkins. That's incredible. But if you're looking for things to do in New York, don't knock out the small towns and check out Sleepy Hollow. But let's focus on some voodoo, because New York is also a very, very haunted, scary place for a lot of people. So, you know, voodoo often is associated with that. So getting onto like the scarier end of things, whether it's witchcraft, wizardry, because there are wizards outside of like fantasy world that call themselves wizards, but they don't, not the same thing. You know, I guess if I had to compare them, they're more similar to like practicing Wiccans. But yeah, a lot of that stuff there as well. The origin of I think modern day Wicca is in New York State, or something related to it originates in New York State. It's a small town. I'm sorry, oh my god. But this is actually very fun because a lot of people go to Salem in Boston for non-Boston Mass, because of its such strong like witch history and stuff like that. But there's not a lot to do there. I want to say it's just outside of, just outside of Rochester. It's not far from there, maybe an hour from Rochester. So if you ever are going to like Rochester, New York, and you're interested in something else, there is a house outside of Rochester, about an hour away. I can't think of the exact details at this moment because I'm really focused on this and I'm already derailing everything, which I don't want to do. So I'll just say this and we're going to focus, I swear. But just on this topic, so outside of Rochester again, sorry, I'm repeating myself 5 million times. There was a girl, at some point who I think, I'm not going to get the details right because I'd have to look and I'm too tired. It's too early. But she basically, I think, said she could talk to the dead or could hear the dead, and people would come to her home to like for different things. I'm getting these wrong. I know it's a lot more interesting than how I'm talking about it. But that's where she was lived, and I think like it was like the state governor or something actually went there to like see if there was truth to it. And I think there was a sister. I think there were sisters. But that house is right there, and it is a very, very important part of modern day witchcraft. It not just because it's not just Wicca that it affected her life and what she started there. It affected modern day, like I said, wizards, not like the fantasy wizards, but like practicing wizards out in the real world. It's a thing. I swear, look it up. It just sounds strange because when you think wizards, you don't think of someone out there practicing magical spells and rituals, possibly in their basement or in the woods and stuff like that, but they do. But also modern day Judaism, which is really cool. That's more along my line of thing. Because I'm very nature focused anyway. I have a ton of Judaism books. I've been into Judaism since I was a kid. I always found it fascinating. It's also, I'm gonna get off topic again. Focusing, sorry. Because I'm sure it's the case for voodoo too, actually. But it affected a lot of these modern day, I guess. I mean, paganism is a broad term for a lot of different practices, religions, and even non-religions and practices that they labeled paganism, that weren't really either. But I guess like your modern day, like pagan religions and practices that exist today, we'll call them. So it had an effect heavily on all of those. Let's keep looking.
On this shelf are super concentrated fixing oils and a rib cage? Gabriel really doesn't want to ask.
But I imagine, because from what Dr. John, who owns the... Hi, John. Oh, interesting. What was that?
The entire shelf is stocked with containers of High John the Conqueror root powder.
I wonder, that seems specific. Did I look at the case?
Herbal oils for love, luck, power, and success.
Because he kind of talked about how like they didn't really have in New Orleans like the history of voodoo, and it ended up being a merger of a lot of things, and a lot of modern Wiccans and wizards and druids and such. And there's a lot more than that too. There's just kind of like the big ones. A lot of their origins and like their original practices, which some people will definitely argue this and probably get mad at me for, but were lost. Very, very old, originated from Europe, but but a lot of that stuff is lost, and a lot of people don't have original text or stuff about it because they were essentially targeted. But it's, I think probably what's been affected the worst is Judaism, and I'm sure Voodoo suffers from that too, because when that stuff got brought over, because they try to restrict it so much, and that's probably why New Orleans Voodoo, like Dr. John was saying, he's more interested in that, probably because it probably is more unique because of that. You know, they had to make do, but they still wanted a practice that was so important to them.
The shelf holds containers of dried items, flowers, grasses, and black cat bones.
But let's try to focus.
The Dixieland drugstore has a rather terrifying way of dealing with shoplifters.
We gotta be able to listen, so I have to talk less.
It's nearly as old as the one at St. George's.
Adjust this a little bit because I'm kind of looking this way so that it's pointing more towards my mouth as I'm talking.
The proprietor doesn't look especially friendly. His business probably doesn't depend on walk-ins.
No. I'm sure he probably doesn't mind walk-ins because he has stuff for probably like tourists and stuff, but I'm sure he's probably like tries to probably get them out as quick as possible.
The sign says, Special St. John's Eve Lagnia. Free bottle of Lover Come Back to Me oil or Master Gambling oil with every purchase over $50.
Lagnia. My French is lousy, but everyone in New Orleans knows what that means. A little something extra.
So that's important. I feel like I don't, because we're poor in this, as we know, but I feel like one of these is important, because I think we'll eventually do make a purchase here. I don't remember for what though. I guess the only way to find out is to play. Let's talk to the man himself.
The entire shelf is stocked with containers.
I did not
of
select him.
John the Conqueror
Sorry.
Root powder.
Willie. Let's talk to Willie.
Hi there. Is this your store?
This is the Dixieland drugstore, and I own it. Me. Name's Walker. Willie Walker.
So we'll ask him some questions.
Can you tell me what you know about voodoo?
This is a novelty shop, monsieur.
Do you think I'm stupid? This is a voodoo shop. Look at all this stuff.
These is novelties, curiosities. If people want to think they magic, it's not my concern, you know?
Yeah.
Are you telling me that you own a voodoo shop, but you know nothing about voodoo practices?
Ça n'est pas ça faire blanc.
What does that mean?
It means you should mind your own business, monsieur.
Wonder what it does mean.
What do you think of New Orleans?
I live here all my life, me.
What do you think of New Orleans?
If you're not from around here, monsieur, you should sign up for some tours.
Ah, but I am.
Do you know anything about snakes?
What kind of snakes?
The kind they use in voodoo?
Pythons, boas, so I've heard.
Really? Do you have one?
Are you crazy? What would I want with a python?
I was actually just thinking that, you know, I keep asking him these things, but he seems to not be wanting to really answer. But that question, like, he didn't really mind at all. Must be it just depends on what it is.
What do you know about Marie Laveau?
Marie? She's somebody from the old days. One of them old folk tales. The tourists eat it up, no?
Like that. He seemed to kind of try to avoid that. So he didn't, the snake question didn't seem to bother him. Maybe because he literally has nothing to do with snakes, so he's not worried about it. Where, like, obviously he's involved in voodoo. Marie Laveau is probably a very important figure for him. And everything he does and all the people that he knows, and that is part of voodoo. So maybe he's trying to avoid more specific questions that more directly relate to him. Trying not to get out maybe like too much information that could be personal, kind of. That's my guess.
Tell me about yourself.
My name's Willie Walker. I own the place.
Yeah, we established that.
How did you get into this kind of business?
Now, why should I discuss my business with you, man?
All right, let's chat first.
So, this is a voodoo store, huh?
Voodoo? No, man. This a curio shop. The things you see here are from local folklore. None of it real, I tell you for sure.
What about all these magic oils and powders you're selling? Aren't they a part of voodoo?
Read the label, man. We make no claims. Sold as curio only. It mean what it say, no? These are novelties, not voodoo.
So, do you get many tourists in here?
We, all the time. They want to buy a bottle of money-drawn oil or wang a bag to take home with them.
Yeah. I love curiosity shops. 'Cause you never know what you're gonna find there, especially like antique styled curiosity shops with people who are just kind of interested in the stuff, but they don't really know about it. So you can find some like really, really cool, unique stuff there. I mean, you can at antique stores too, but I mean, antique stores, you can find a lot of cool stuff in general. A lot of hidden gems in antique stores. Love going to them.
How's business?
About like always.
I'm a businessman too. I own a bookstore here in the quarter.
I don't really care. I got a store to run.
Let's chat again.
Have you always lived in New Orleans?
My papa, his papa, and his papa, all the way back to the days of Marie Laveau, we've been living here.
Sorry, I have to send a quick text message. Put that on silent so I don't get interrupted.
So, does any of this stuff actually work?
You crazy, man? These are just curios, novelties for the tourists.
I also I also find it fun because sometimes, so like me and my fiance have stopped at shops that are kind of like novelty shops, and some of them literally are just novelty shops. And we stopped at this one wonderful place, and I really thought she was just kind of mostly talking to my fiance, but we ended up talking to the owner for like an hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours. She invited us to like this back room she has to sit down and talk about things, and we had been in there a lot, and then, you know, I think she just picked up on that. Sorry, I'm circling. About that, you know, we're into and curious and more open-minded than maybe some other people. And so we ended up having a long conversation about that, and she actually invited us. She does like these meetings to like talk about those things, and it's like a meeting of a bunch of people that she's met and her close friends and stuff. So she invited us into her inner circle, and it was really sweet. And hopefully one day, because it's a ways away from us, quite a ways. It's like 8-ish hours from us where she is. So hopefully one day we will get that call and go do that. But she was like, yeah, just give, you know, write your number and stuff, and I'll reach out to you and let you know when we're gonna meet and everything. And just talking about like life and like the spiritual aspect of life, whatever kind of spiritualness you're into kind of situation, and just being open-minded and just something to like relax and be like, honestly, I almost feel like stuff like that is kind of like a group therapy session without the therapist. But she was super sweet, and hopefully one day. But I when we were leaving, and she was like, "Oh, I just one of you," and I was like, "Oh, she met me too." But she was super sweet. So hopefully one day, well, we're definitely gonna go back there for sure. But and she gave me a free jar of honey because I love honey. Because I am very big into nature, and I talked about that a lot with her. and how important like nature is to me specifically, and why it is. So I was gonna get a bottle of local honey from the area because I like to buy local honey. Not only to support local beekeepers, but also because every honey tastes different. Depending on where bees are, you can be 15 minutes away and be beekeeping from another beekeeper, and your honey tastes different because of where they're pollinating, what they're pollinating from. Probably a million factors in that. So I love to get local honey and see how it tastes, and it was really good honey.
Nice weather we're having.
Don't bother me. Can't you see I'm busy? St. John Eve coming. I got to be ready.
All right. Oh, we did wear it out. Okay, so let's ask him the big questions now.
What do you know about the Voodoo murders? What did you say?
Nothing. Them killings have nothing to do with my shop, monsieur.
Wonder what that was you said. It could very be. Maybe he does have nothing to do with it, and he's worried about it because it's bringing heat onto his shop because it's a voodoo shop.
What can you tell me about St. John's Eve?
It's the biggest night of
coffee.
the year in Voodoo.
What goes on exactly?
I couldn't say.
That customer of yours, the little old lady,
Customer?
the woman I saw in here, Madame Casino, you called her.
I don't talk about my customers to men who come in off the street.
Yeah. I also like the way he said that because he was, creepy for a man to come in and ask about an old lady that when he doesn't know you, or good for him on that one. I like the response. Although I hope you want to do it for a guy either, but
What did you mean when you said Caprice Saint-Car?
I didn't say that.
You did. I heard you say it.
You heard wrong, monsieur. I said no such thing.
To get the mask, Gabriel would have to buy it.
oh, is it for sale?
The mask appears to be made from a real crocodile head.
Wait.
Mind if I ask you if you...
Ask what you want.
Oh. Maybe we should try grabbing more things.
Do you know anything about animal masks?
The only one left is Willie Jr. over there, the old crocodile. He's sort of a mascot now, him.
Interesting. So that was important. So, are we gonna take the crocodile mask? Are we gonna steal it? I hope not.
About
Steal
Willie
it.
Jr.
Probably go bad for
Would
us.
you be willing to let him go?
Maybe. For $100.
$100?
You gotta be kidding.
Me and Willie Jr. are very close now. I couldn't part with him for less.
Okay, so that's gonna be important. So should I try grabbing anything else?
I don't know what that stuff does, but I don't like the sound of it.
Okay. That's probably important.
To get what's in the case, Gabriel would need money.
I don't want any of this.
There was a...
I'd have to smell those if I opened them.
Do that with any more things? I guess I didn't...
It must be the crocodile thing, but even I'm not interested in undressing that man.
Okay.
To get what's in the case,
Alright, same thing.
Willie looks ready to defend that cash register with his life. What would Gabriel do with that sign?
I like that the option is there. Could you imagine if we could take the no stealing
I'll
sign?
pass. I ate Italian last night.
And we'll just check them one more time to see
To get what's in the case,
if there's anything else we unlocked.
Can I ask you just a few...
Whatever, man.
He's like, just leave. Okay, nothing. All right. Okay, so, all right. Let's exit to the map. Let's just double check. We're at 66, just to make sure that's on track. Yep. Okay. Yeah. So we are right on track. This is new. Moonbeam Residence. What did What did John talk about? He had mentioned something else that was important to voodoo. The history. Should probably do that first. Was it the cemetery? We did here. We've been here. We've been here. That's where we come from. The cathedral probably does, but we're not there yet. So yeah, Moonbeam Residence is Getty. So Malia Getty. So yeah, let's do the cemetery. It's got to be hard work to maintain a cemetery.
A flyer advertising Magenta Moonbeam, a local voodoo.
Oh.
Her parlor is on the corner of Orleans and Dauphine.
Oh, interesting. So it's not. Oh, what the heck is that? So Moonbeam is not Malia Getty. Is there anything else we haven't checked out? Oh, wait. That might be related to that. Let's save quick. Just in case something tragic strikes. Cemetery. This is what, EP4 now. We'll go boo. I don't know why. My brain's tired.
New Orleans is famous for its above-ground tombs. The high water table prevents bodies from being interred underground. New Orleans is famous.
Okay, same thing. Trash can?
The old man is apparently doing some cleanup work.
Anything else that's oh, the sky.
St. Louis Cemetery number 1 is one of the most historic and beautiful places in the quarter.
Okay, we looked at the tomb statue.
A stone angel stands silently before a tomb.
Oh, is he leaving now? Oh. Should I have talked to him before he
Vases
left?
seem to be a favorite decoration for the dead. Food, trinkets, and more unsettling things have been left at Marie Laveau's tomb as offerings from believers.
Oh, so that's... Excuse me. So this is Marie Laveau's tomb. Didn't even notice that.
The tomb of Marie Laveau, Voodoo Queen of Narlands.
On a brick here.
Near the Laveau tomb is a piece of red brick. Undoubtedly a cast-off from spiritual graffiti writers.
Okay.
Here and there in the cemetery, straggly plants grow in stone planters.
So, can
No
I...
thanks.
I don't think I could do it with the vase either.
These would seriously clash with my decorating scheme.
Gabriel doesn't need any more house plants.
Can I take the statue? No. Take the brick, though, right? Yeah, we can. Man, I just wonder...
Norland.
Statue.
The marble denizens of the cemetery only stare back blankly.
Okay, it doesn't say anything about the man standing there, so I don't think we missed anything there. Oh.
An angel with a cross stands guard over one of the tombs.
Yeah, okay, I don't think there's anything else. So let's, oh, plaque, let's look at that.
A plaque on the tomb reads, Laveau.
Oh. Interesting.
Mosley and I used to switch street signs, but this is really sick.
So this says Marie Laveau. This Greek revival tomb is reputed burial place of this notorious voodoo queen. A mystic cult, voodooism of African origin, was brought to the city from Santo Domingo and flourished in the 19th century. Marie Laveau was the most widely known of many practitioners of the cult.
A plaque on the tomb.
Oh, is it gonna read it for me?
Laveau.
Okay, no. Must be there's something important here too, but I don't know what, so back out of that for now. Oops. Not bad. I got a little too click happy, I'm sorry. Well, he's still gone, so that's okay.
Odd-looking marks adorn the Laveau tomb wall.
I mean, this has got to be either some sort of ritual or like maybe some sort of communication with a red brick being there.
The wall doesn't work that way. The wall doesn't work that way.
Okay. Just was curious. Can I take it?
Take the marks with him that way.
Yeah, I think I have to write them down in the
The
notebook.
wall doesn't work that way.
Okay. Yeah, let's change this out with our notebook. There it is. Sketchbook, I mean. We'll jot them down. Is there anything else here I can do?
I want a copy of these strange marks.
Okay. No, there isn't. Yeah, look at these markings.
The marks are reddish in color and remind Gabriel of crosses. They look like they've been here a few days at least.
I feel like they were written on here with the brick, though. I wonder, it's probably code that we have to figure out. Alright, so let's go. Well, can we go to the Moonbeam residence?
Sign on the front door of Magenta's home reads, "Attuning with the spirit realm, back on June 22nd.
So we can't. So where is... So we must have to go to the greater map to get to Malia Geddes. Ah, we do. Okay, yep. Getty Mansion. Let's go talk to Malia. Wow.
The huge trees
Very pretty.
bear beards of Spanish moss. Perfectly groomed hedges run along the front of the porch.
Roses.
Potted roses mark the entrance to the house.
You just never know.
The Garden District is famous for its elaborate old plantation homes and mansions. This particular mansion is impeccably groomed.
You just never know in these games what could be important, like a little detail. Because maybe, I mean, obviously a lot of people can get roses, but you know, the areas you go to and then you find like rose petals at one of the scenes, that could be very important, so.
The windows are made of thick, heavy glass. The only thing Gabriel can see inside is even thicker drapery.
I don't think there's anything else out here other than... Also, look at this knocker. It looks like the face of someone, but that's neat.
It wouldn't be worth breaking into Malia's house.
Then we would be in jail. Alright, yeah, I don't think there's anything out here else to look at, so... Very pretty, though. Let's go knock. Let's go use the face knocker and see what happens.
May I help you?
Butler?
The Garden District is fit.
Oops.
The man looks intellectual, polished, and impervious. He gazes at Gabriel with a superior eye. Gabriel wonders if he's Malia's secretary, bodyguard, butler, or something more personal.
Not a coffee. Maybe he's all of the above. Oh, interesting. Let me look quick. I don't think anything will happen, but let's try everything.
Encyclopedias?
Go away.
Oh, and he just leaves. Excuse me while I readjust my low self.
May I
Yeah.
help you?
I may not be worth going through all of these to see what his reactions are, but you know what? Let's do
I have
it.
a fine selection of magazine subscriptions for sale.
We do not welcome solicitors.
She's gonna go in every time. Maybe I should have saved before that I did this. It's gonna call the cops on
May I
me.
help you?
Same guy keeps coming to our house saying he's offering a different time every time. He comes.
Are you tired of polishing silver day in and day out?
We don't have silver. All of our utensils are solid gold.
Wow.
Oh, I see. Well, I represent Lumor Armored Cars, and
Beat it. And comb your hair.
I feel like this is worth it, right? Watching him
May I
come
help you?
out and start this conversation the exact same way every single time. Let me in.
let me in.
No. Go away before I call the police.
Oh. That could be a way to enter. We took Mosley's badge. Maybe we can pretend to be the police.
May I help you?
But until then, first we have more options.
Wrong house. Never mind.
Fine. Good day.
Okay, well now we gotta do the yellow option.
May I help you?
Just to make him walk back and forth and open the door constantly makes it worth it, right?
I'd like to see Malia Getty, please.
I'm sorry, but unless you have an appointment or official business, I cannot announce you.
Okay. Should I make him go back inside? Is that a thing? Hold on. Okay, it doesn't say I have to. So. Oops. Let's show him the police badge.
My name is Detective Mosley.
Yeah.
I'm here on police business.
Really? How interesting. Wait here. I'll inform Miss Getty. Miss Getty will see you. Right this
All
way.
right.
Miss Getty will be down shortly.
Oh, we're getting close to day 3.
Thank you.
I was just scrolling through to see. So I think after this, which I probably would not have thought of this, so I'm glad I looked. So after we are done here, we're supposed to go to Jackson Square again. I'm going to save before we talk to her, though. It's a very cool room.
What can I do for you, Detective?
Maybe that'll be our thumbnail. But yeah, let's save just in case, because I feel like that is something I could definitely probably mess up. Okay, Mansion EP for Getty. I don't know why I said it like that. I'm sorry. So let's check everything out first.
Harvard classics. Homer, Virgil. Maybe Malia wouldn't be impressed by a signed copy of one of Gabriel's novels. Gabriel's already read that one.
That's funny.
Modern art.
More or less. It's a Picasso.
Oh. it's a lion.
Genuine lion skin.
I can imagine doing things on that rug.
Excuse me?
Oh, nothing.
It would be rude to take that now, but Gabriel makes a mental note about it for the prenuptial.
Oh boy.
The only thing Gabriel wants to mess around with in his room is Malia herself.
I wonder why he's so immediately drawn to Malia Getty.
The side table probably costs more than Gabriel's shop.
I can rearrange things once I move in.
I say that too because like it kind of creeps me out a little bit because I've been in situations where like people do get lightweight a little bit. So in part of the way it's like why, but like I know there must be because it's a game and I know I have played it, so I know it doesn't go that way. But I can't remember why he's so drawn to her.
Roses and gardenias give the air a sweet taste.
But I know there's a reason that makes sense for the story. Some sort of deeper connections going on. But it also still makes me go, ooh, I hate when people like, you know, because that happens and sometimes, a lot of times it's not always a good thing.
Nice statue. I like it.
Thank you. It's The Rebellious Slave by Michelangelo.
Interesting.
It would be rude to take that now. The only thing Gabriel wants.
Alright, same thing. What about this
Dante's
bookcase?
Inferno. Nothing like a little light reading. Gabriel's already read.
Okay. We got these pictures.
Beautiful women. They must be relatives.
They are.
Interesting.
The only thing.
Alright.
It would be rude to.
Okay. If I do that with like this one will be
Beautiful
different.
women. They must be relatives.
They are.
Okay, no. Fireplace.
The only thing Gabriel's likely to burn here is his bridges.
Yeah, probably.
It's rather warm in here, isn't it?
Oh, I'm sorry if you're uncomfortable. The fireplace doesn't really give off much heat without the stove insert, so I indulge myself, even in the summer.
Yeah, well, I don't think it's the fireplace anyway.
Oh boy. Supposed to be a cop here, Gabriel. Calm down.
Gabriel's hot enough.
Okay. So I think we've checked out everything in the room. Oh, I'm worried.
Undoubtedly proof that there is a God.
What does he even do?
trying
Trying what?
to reach the truth.
Gabriel is trying to impress the girl, not make her gag.
I don't even know what. I'm confused. I'm too tired. My brain is picking up on everything. It's not firing all cylinders yet.
Mind if I ask you a few questions, Miss Kitty?
I assume that's what you're here for, Detective.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, we'll not do that right away because that might kind of give off the fact that we're impersonating a cop. So we'll start with Voodoo.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
Voodoo? Why would you want to know about that, Detective? It's rather silly, isn't it?
There's nothing silly about the voodoo murders.
Cool
But
necklace.
that voodoo is faked. That's what I've read in the papers.
That's what the papers say, all right.
But you're not convinced.
No, frankly, I'm not. The police department isn't known for its imagination.
Oh? Well, I can see that your imagination is considerable.
Yeah, this is a really cool necklace. I think what's makes it as cool as it is honestly this part because it's very much like a real thick choker. Then with this on there, I don't know if I've ever seen anything quite like that other than in this game. There must be, but it's really cool, and I just like the thick choker aspect of it.
Tell me about your life in New Orleans.
The Getty family came to New Orleans in 1800. We worked very hard to get where we are. On the other hand, we've done a lot for this community.
I can believe that. You're doing a lot for me right now.
Oh boy, Gabriel. He's got to simmer down. Oh boy.
What can you tell me about St. John's Eve?
I believe it's some sort of local holiday. but I don't know much about it.
Let's do.
What do you know about Marie Laveau?
I've heard of her, of course, but that's about it.
Let's do Voodoo murders.
What do you know about the Voodoo murders?
The murders? Only what I read in the papers.
And what do you read in the papers?
I'm sure you know much more about it than I, detective.
I feel like she's on to us.
Do you know anything about animal masks?
Animal masks? I don't know what you mean.
Snakes.
Do you know anything about snakes?
I'm no expert. I don't fear them like most people do.
Now let's ask about this.
Do you have any idea what Cabri Sanko means?
No, I don't. What does it mean, detective?
That's confidential information, man.
'Cause we don't know.
Tell me about yourself.
I suppose I don't really have a choice. What do you want to know, detective?
Interesting.
What kind of things interest you?
I don't have a lot of free time, but I do appreciate the arts. Opera, symphony, ballet, fine art. If you look around, you'll see that we collect African art, for example.
Yes, it's very beautiful.
It is, detective. It means a great deal to me.
Do you have a career?
A career? Being the head of the Getty family is a 24-hour-a-day job. We have many holdings and many responsibilities, financial and otherwise. The management of our business affairs and properties leaves me with time for little else.
Poor little rich girl?
Believe it or not, detective, wealth does have its price.
Yeah,
Tell me about your
it always
family.
does.
The Gettys? We're a very private family.
How many people are there in your family?
Well, my mother just passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I am sorry.
So am I. She was a magnificent woman. We were very close. I was an only child.
And your father?
I never knew him.
It's hard to believe that any man would leave a woman like you. Or like your mother must have been.
He did not leave, detective. But that's
Oh, interesting.
really
So
none
is
of
he
your
dead too?
concern.
I'm sorry. Go on.
There are, of course, other Gettys in the city. I have a large extended family.
I see. Do you have a husband, boyfriend?
I'm very independent, detective. The women in my family have always preferred it that way.
So, you've never been married?
No, and I never will be.
What about children?
Yes, that is likely. Someday.
I mean, that's why. So maybe they just kind of like pick a guy that they want to use, whether by insemination or whatnot. And then that's it. And they have no involvement after that. Probably some sort of contract is written up or something. Would be my guess. So he's either dead, or he was just like the used as like a seed giver. Interesting.
I'd like to hear just about anything.
I have a business degree from Vanderbilt. I wanted to study psychology, but my family's interests came first.
Oh, why not something like law then? Surely that would have been an asset to the family.
Law? Please. I do have some morals, detective.
I'd like to hear just about anything.
For the record, I'm 28, detective.
I'd like to hear just about anything.
I have few friends. A woman in my position can't really afford them.
I'd like to hear just about anything.
I try to stay away from the media as much as possible. Last year there was that story about John Jr. and I. Phone didn't stop ringing for weeks. I prefer to keep my private life private. I would appreciate it if you'd keep my name away from any public association with the police, detective.
Of course.
Interesting.
I
So
wouldn't
who's
know what-
John Jr.? Is that Dr.
As you
John?
wish, detective.
This is quite a place.
Thank you. It's been in the family a
Wonder.
long time.
We're almost done with this episode, though, so.
Done anything exciting lately?
I'm sorry, but I'm very busy. Can we get to the point?
Okay.
Can you tell me anything about what happened out at the lake?
I wish I could, but I've never seen or heard anything unusual at the lake. And I do spend quite a bit of time out there.
So what's new with you?
Nothing that would interest you, I'm sure, Detective.
Just curious if we can
Do you
exhaust this
receive
out,
all your
too.
visitors in this library?
Usually, I feel more comfortable surrounded by things that I love.
So, you like books?
My books, my art, yes.
You know, we have a lot more in common than you might imagine.
I would love to chat about that sometime, Detective, but I'm really pressed at the moment.
Alright, I guess we're going to flirt with her now.
Excuse me, but your eyes are really distracting. I don't think I've ever seen a color quite like that brownish gold. It's so deep and rich. Man, if I could bottle that, I'd make a fortune.
Thank you, Detective. That's an interesting observation, though probably not relevant to your case.
A good detective never knows what might be relevant, Miss Getty.
Then you must be truly exceptional at your job.
Bottle them up and sell them.
I can't help noticing that you're in incredible shape, Miss Getty.
Oh,
Your legs are
oh
so
boy.
strong.
Oh,
Do you work out at one of the clubs by the lake?
Gabriel.
Well, Detective, I do enjoy physical activity.
Oh, me too.
Actually, I was referring to swimming and modern dance. I can't say that I do much exercising at the lake, though.
Ah, well, it was worth asking.
I think this has gone on long enough. You're not really a detective, are you?
Who, me? Well, I am on this case, Miss Getty.
I saw you at the lake yesterday. I thought you must be with the police since you were there, but you don't act like a police officer. Besides, I'm rather certain that the other man said his name was Mosley.
All right, you caught me. I'm not with the police. My name is Gabriel Knight. I'm a writer working with Detective Mosley on a book.
Well, Mr. Knight, now that we've established who you are, perhaps you can tell me the real reason you're here.
Well, I am researching the book, and I thought you might have seen or heard something at the lake.
I don't like liars, Mr. Knight.
Okay, you're right. I really just wanted to see you again. You can be mad at me if you want, but I swear I've never done anything like this before.
Mr. Knight, you've lied about your identity and wasted my time with meaningless questions. If it weren't vaguely flattering, I'd really be angry. You're lucky I don't call the real police. I think you should go, Mr. Knight.
Malia, wait. If you just give me a chance.
I've wasted enough time. I'll have Robert show you out.
Yeah.
Robert,
He's very lucky she didn't call the police.
show Mr. Knight out, please.
I most certainly will.
Thank you very much. I had a lovely time. Ah, shit.
Yeah, you think so? Okay, let's save again real quick. We'll call this, ouch. Because Gabriel burnt himself. And we will go to, excuse me, sorry, Jackson Park. Jackson Square. And we will finish this section to finish the day out, and then we will, I should just waited and saved here. I don't know why I did that. Jackson Square, EP 4. I just hear Doobie. I just saw Doobie in the text, so I'm just going to call this episode 4 Doobie. None of these are going to make sense to me down the road when I look at them later. Oh, yeah. I was going to say, I was just looking to see what it was saying. It's saying there's new stuff. Drummer's still here.
Lone drummer beats out.
Yep. So we already know about that. We already looked at the flowers, so I guess we'll check out the hot dog vendor.
A doobie dog vendor has set up business in the square. He
That's
has
the
his
doobie.
nose buried in a paperback novel. Gabriel notices that it is not one of his. Big surprise.
Yeah, and there's Doobie. Yep. Oh, interesting. Got tap dancer.
A small boy is tap dancing enthusiastically for a doobie dog vendor. The vendor ignores him.
Let's talk to him. Actually, what does that say?
Do you mind if I ask you a few questions?
Yep, I mind all right.
Why?
Because A, I don't know anything, and B, I'm busy.
Oh,
Ah, tap dancer?
A small boy is
I'm about to talk to him. Wrong bubble.
do you do requests?
Got any money?
Nope.
Something to eat?
No.
There you have it. No.
Okay, so he does requests for food or money.
You dance pretty well for a kid.
Give me some money then.
I don't have any.
Then don't block the view, mister.
So he's dancing to try to
Anything at the moment.
Okay then.
get a doobie dog. That's sad. Just walk around a little. Explore the park. Agent Ben was there before. Artist is new. Anything else new? Let's see.
Oh, hey! Oh, come
Oh.
back here. Hey!
Oh.
Oh, unbelievable. Rotten luck.
Okay. So that's probably important. Do we talk to the artist first? I guess we'll talk to him first.
an artist is taking advantage of the fine weather.
Trying the church.
Those drawing tools are amazing.
Yeah, they're great for laying lines, angles, circles, you know, anything geometric. It's pretty meticulous, but I prefer it to freehand.
Can you draw anything with those tools?
They're great for ordered, complex forms and patterns, but they won't help me do Monet.
Interesting. So that's probably important.
How's it going?
Life sucks. I just lost 2 days worth of work.
What are you working on now?
Just starting another drawing of the cathedral.
Okay. So we probably can't get this sketch.
There's a drawing caught up against a statue.
What are we gonna yell at it? Hey, come here.
Hey, float over here, would you?
The drawing ignores Gabriel.
He did. Oh, maybe I can reach it. Okay.
Gabriel
Oh.
can't reach the drawing from where he is.
Oh, maybe the kid can get it.
Can you fit through the bars around the statue?
Got any money?
Nope.
There you have it. No.
Okay.
Can't think of anything.
Okay then.
So we need to get some food from the hot dog vendor.
Could I get a doobie dog, please?
Not now. I'm busy.
An
Really?
unambitious person in the 90s. Amazing.
Isn't that funny? Every generation, you know, everyone's not ambitious, everyone's lazy. It's always viewed that way. I think it's always been like that. They always see the younger generation that way for some reason. Okay. So when we're done here, we should get up to 83. What do we have in my inventory? Code, brick, flyer. I have no money. What's this for? Oh, well, he is reading a book. Wasn't this a gift certificate for... Wasn't this a gift certificate for...
The
There we go.
$20 gift certificate for St. George's looks pitifully new and unused.
Okay, so maybe because he likes books, so maybe we can give this to him
I have this gift certificate.
for a hot
I'm
dog.
busy.
It's good for $20 at St. George's Books. Finest bookstore in New Orleans.
Really? I'll have to check it out sometime.
You could take this gift certificate with you. If you'll give me a doobie dog.
A doobie dog for a $20 gift certificate? Sure, here you go.
Okay, there we go. Nice. All right. That's the other thing, because there's so much stuff in our inventory that can be used for so many different things. And some stuff is for specific things only. We'll have it well in advance, so keeping it in mind.
You wouldn't like a doobie dog by any chance.
Would I? Thanks, mister. You got any special requests? Let me know.
Sure do.
You mentioned something about special requests.
Yeah.
Right.
You got one?
Can you fit through the bars around the statue?
Can I? Just watch me.
Good. There's something in there I can't quite reach.
All right, there we go.
Can you reach
Okay,
that
yep,
piece
give
of
this
paper?
gift certificate.
Sure thing.
Yep, and he will get the drawing for me. Okay. I think we're doing well.
Here you go.
Thanks, kid.
Yup. See ya.
Press 79. Doing good. So we're almost at the end of this episode.
Stupid wind. Now I have to start all over.
No, you don't. But we are almost at the end of this episode. Before we get to that point, I just want to say, hope everyone is enjoying it. I love this game. Hope you love it as well.
This belongs to you, doesn't it?
My drawing. How'd you get it?
Oh, it was a bit of a squeeze, but I hate to see you lose your work. I lost my only copy of a manuscript once.
Well, you saved my butt. Let me know if I can ever do the same for you, hey?
Okay. So do we need to ask him about like the symbols, maybe? Because he said I'm no artist. Let me just check. Yeah, photocopy of the markings. All right.
Is there any way you can reconstruct the whole pattern from these partials?
Oh.
The pattern is probably circular, and there's some repetition in the elements. Okie dokie. Well, I think there's an area missing. If you could get me any more of these, I'll see what I can do.
Oh, but we do have more, don't we? 'Cause we have the lake pattern.
I have another one of those patterns.
Really? Let's see. Yeah, this is great. I think there's enough overlap now. I'll give it my best shot. I'll show you what I come up with tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
I appreciate it.
Okay, we're at 83. That's it. Oh, that was quicker than I thought. I thought there was going to be more. So we have to come back tomorrow. And he's going to draw out the patterns for us, but he's also going to finish them and complete them. I can just use the map icon. All right, so let's return to St. George's.
Hey, Grace, here I am.
Oh boy, party time.
I don't think there's anything else but talk to Grace, so... I feel like we're making pretty good progress now. Other than my brief rambling in the beginning.
What's up?
Oh, we have a whole... So we got a few topics here.
What
Cool.
can you tell me about St. John's Eve?
St. John's Eve? Never heard of it. Must be a local custom. New Orleanians love to party.
So we'll ask her these questions, and then actually what we'll do is we'll back out before we do the yellow one, and go through the journal before we end the episode too, because I haven't checked that out at all this episode. I keep mentioning I need to check it out more, and I keep not doing it.
Do you have any idea what Capri Saint-Caux means?
No. Sounds French, though.
Do you know anything about animal masks?
I'd rather not hear about your sex life, Knight.
Do you know anything about Marie Laveau?
Wasn't she a big voodoo queen before the Civil War?
That's right.
Well, you've just heard everything I know about her.
Okay, so let's exit quick. Check out this journal. Okay. Yep. Okay, so this is where we would have left off here. There's a voodooine just around the corner from St. George's Books named Magenta Moonbeam. I should go talk to her later this week. Yep, because she's not open yet. Dr. John keeps a snake in the Voodoo Museum. It's big, a humongous python. I sure want to run into it at a dark alley. That feels like foreshadowing. To specifically mention the snake like that seems like foreshadowing. Also, it could just also be because of his dreams, because I think he's always getting strangled by a snake in his dreams. Wish I could get a little sample of its scales. I doubt Dr. John would appreciate it if I asked, though. Yeah, but it was very green python, wasn't it? So it's not going to have that blue on it. I don't think. Unless they can have like mixed color scales, but I don't know. So Marie Laveau, the voodoo queen of New Orleans, is buried in St. Louis Cemetery. Now this I've got to see for myself. Yep, so we did that. This is very useful. I should be referring to this more. There's an upcoming voodoo holiday called St. John's Eve. If these murders are connected to real voodoo, I bet there'll be something going on then. Oh, for sure. Capri Saint-Caux. What does it mean? Willie Dixieland drugstore owner said that when I tried to chat him up on the voodoo murders. So it has something to do with the killings. Oh, yeah, I guess I didn't think about that. I just figured he was cursing us out. He knows more than he's ever going to tell someone like me. Nothing but curios. Yeah, right. But he was the real friendly with the old woman who came in earlier. With that annoying yappy little dog. Madame Cosanou. Is that how they pronounced it? Cosanou? Probably not. He called her. I sure like to talk to an authentic believer like her. Oh, so we're gonna need to go talk to her. But we don't know where she lives, so we'll have to figure that out. So we're gonna go harass the old lady. Gabriel Knight. The things authors will do for stories is a lot. They go out of their way to make sure. But anyway, that croc mask at Dixieland Drugstore is the only animal mask I've seen. I want the damn thing, but I'm broke as usual. Need to dig up some cash, so we're gonna have to find a way to get some money. That's $100, so even with all the money in the register, it's not enough because it's like $20, I think, in the register. Laveau's tomb gets some weirdos, alright? The whole side of it was covered in these weird cross-like markings. I got a copy of it in case it means something. Molly is sharp. It didn't take too long for her to figure out I wasn't a cop, and then it took even less time for her to kick me out. There was just something about her. I'm pretty sure she feels the attraction too. Good old night charm hasn't failed me yet. Yeah, but it probably, when you're sneaking in and posing as a cop, you probably shouldn't be using that charm. Not the way he was doing it, at least. It's nice to know I'm not the only person with bad luck. Saw a student artist lose a drawing today. Wish I could get it back for him. Hey, I'm being entirely unselfish about that. Well, and you did do that. Luck is with me after all. I found an artist at Jackson Square who's going to reconstruct that pattern from the crime scenes for me. Nothing like a little outsourcing to get the job done. Maybe then I can make some headway in figuring out what the heck the pattern means. It seems like a lot of effort for the killers to put into fake voodoo. And then why smudge it out? Yeah. Okay, so let's make that request of Grace now.
Got a minute, Grace?
See,
What's up?
what are we gonna, what would we have a research? Well, I guess we'll find out.
Could you do some research for me?
Sure, what?
Oh, yeah. The old lady, so she can find out where she's located. She's probably gonna be like, what the heck do you want to do with an old lady?
I need you to look up a Madame Cazeneuve.
Madame Casino? Is she related to
Casino.
the murders the same way your friend Malia Getty was?
Grace, Casino's at least 70.
As if that makes a difference to you. Okay, I'll see what I can find. Well, it's about closing time.
So it is. Good night, Gracie.
Good night, Gabriel. And try not to dream, okay?
It's fun too, because you can tell from her voice that she does care about him. Yeah, so this is the end of day 2. Also, something creepy about the scene, even though it is so pretty. Like, it's like it's inviting for something else to happen when she leaves, which makes you nervous for poor Grace leaving late at night. No more dreams. Or the same dream. Kind of looks like Getty turning into the cheetah. I have to look at it again, but something about it made me think of her a little bit. Maybe one of those photos. Oh, so it's not Gabriel getting killed by a snake. It's someone that looks like him, but he's shown hanging. Interesting. Okay. So same bad dream. Yeah, now I'm just expecting something to happen in this. Day 3. Drawn to the halls of learning, I sought there to conspire, but it was in the city of the dead that I found my heart's desire. I love that too. Here's our paper for the next episode, and there's Grace. I do worry about her now. Maybe it's just because I'm tired, but I keep thinking about that now. This scene is just in my head constantly. About something possibly going to be coming and happening. But all right, there we go.
I'm so glad you could join us today. I've got messages when you want them.
Okay.
I also checked out Casino. There are multiple listings in the white pages. I got the page, but you'll have to figure out the right one.
Great.
Good old phone books. We'll have to talk about the phone books in the next episode, because there's probably a lot of people who don't know what a phone book is.
With Malia Getty, or is it just too embarrassing? Don't tell me you actually got to see her.
All the stars out tonight.
Gabriel, you don't seriously think she's interested. She can have any man in the city. You know, men with bank accounts.
You underestimate the Knight family's tragic poet samurai appeal. When Daddy married Mom, she was the hottest catch in town.
I always suspected there was something fishy in your family tree. But seriously, I think you should be careful.
Meow, Grace.
I'm serious. I don't know why, but I have a bad feeling in the pit of my stomach about this.
It's called jealousy, my dear. And you're right, you should be jealous of Malia Getty. As should every woman on this planet.
I just... never mind. I'll just fix these books. Your life is in your own slippery little hands.
The point is to get it into somebody else's hands. And soon.
I almost think like it's a defense mechanism for him, the way he talks. Yeah, all right. So we'll do a quick save. This will be day 3. That's not a D. I'm sorry. This actually will, when we start off, will be episode 5. So we'll save it like that, and then we'll pause it so we can get this beautiful screen. We'll end that episode there. Thank you so much, Adjustment, for watching, and I'll see you in the next one, and hopefully even less random. Yeah, random. Hopefully a lot less ramblingness, and more hearing and appreciating this wonderful game. I hope you enjoyed it. If you don't mind, hit that subscribe button so you can see what's coming next. It'll be more of this and more of other things. I'm going to do 2 other one-offs. This episode will be on Wednesday, and then there'll be a one-off on Monday and Friday. And then next week we'll probably do 2 Gabriel Knights and then one-off. So I'll see you in those videos, and again, hope you enjoyed it. See you there.